Hello and welcome to NewsMakers. I'm your host, Mohammed Alshoaiby. We're sitting with Council of Independent Colleges Woodrow Wilson Fellow, Dr. Marcia Grant. Dr. Grant has built an extensive career in teaching and university administration. She's helped found and develop universities and programs across the globe in countries such as Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Pakistan, to name a few. We're here with her today, following her lecture at AUS on liberal arts education, to delve deeper into this education paradigm and understand its effects on the students engaged in this discipline. Dr. Grant, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Mohammed.
So, Dr. Grant, tell us, how has your visit to AUS been so far?
Oh, you're finding me at the end of an absolutely packed day, but wonderful. I have met so many students who are really varied, and I've also had really good visits to the library, which I love, and with some of your administrators and faculty.
Yeah, our library is quite one of the best in the country. Yeah,
one of the best, if not the best in the region, I'd say. I have library envy.
Oh, it's great to hear you say that. Well, Dr. Grant, you're known for your extensive work in the field of liberal arts. Could you explain to some of our viewers that might be unfamiliar with that term just what it means in brief?
In a nutshell, liberal arts is a form of higher education for the bachelor's degree, where students have 2 years of very broad education in the sciences, in the humanities and arts, and in the social sciences. And it allows them to have a taste of fields very different from what they might end up majoring in. So it gives them breadth, but it also teaches them about new ways of looking at the world. And I think that form of education lasts for the rest of their lives so that they have new contexts to put information in. And every now and then, a student will take a course and fall in love with it.
Right.
And that's quite unexpected, of course.
And how does this work? I mean, does the student declare a major? And
yes, and thanks, because the second part of the liberal arts education is that beside the 2 years of general education, then they declare a major and they get depth. They've had the breadth, but then they go into their majors and learn how to do some research.
I see. Okay, Dr. Grant, you've observed our university, and do you believe that AUS is following more or less a similar model to the liberal arts that we're talking about today?
Yes, I think that the liberal arts educational model is quite flexible, and that we'll all, depending on the culture, depending on the expectations of society, will be stressing one side of things or another. For example, in Saudi Arabia, Effat University is doing more sciences than we would be doing in a liberal arts college in the States. And I think here you're getting the basic general education in place, and then you have different fields like architecture, business, the humanities, international relations, and engineering. So yeah, I think it's really working well.
Great. Okay, speaking of the Effat University for Women in Jeddah, now you founded that along with Princess Effat, who was King Faisal's wife. Is that right?
No, not quite. Queen Effat was the mother, God rest her soul, of Princess Lulu Al Faisal. And it was Princess Lulu Al Faisal who was in charge of the project. So I worked with Princess Lulu, and I still am in close touch with her.
Oh, that's great. So tell me about this university. How does it differ from other universities and colleges in the kingdom?
Well, it was the first private nonprofit college to get a license when the Ministry of Higher Education decided to open up to private education. And we started with a liberal arts model. So the students do take courses in a wide variety of areas, history, art now, starting this year. And I'm terribly proud of the fact that Dr. Haifa Jamal Al-Lail, who's president, and Princess Lula have pushed for engineering for women. It's a first.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Okay, speaking of the majors over there, why was it important to begin education in that university with departments in early childhood education and computer science specifically?
Well, we started I got there on August 2nd, 1999, and we opened on the 8th of September. And we did that because Queen Effet was very ill. And I wanted the college to start while she was alive so she could see it. And we only had 37 students. We could only start with a few majors. And I took one major in the humanities and one that would be really useful to women, and that was early childhood education, and then one that was more technical and scientific, and that was computer science.
To give a larger spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move now to Pakistan, right? You've worked in Lahore and in Karachi, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
What can you tell us about these areas in regards to their development in education, or what's been happening the past few years over there?
As you know, Karachi is the biggest city. There are over 18 million people. I'm amazed. I've just gotten to Lahore, and there are over 12 million people in Lahore, which I didn't expect. Lahore is the center of higher education in Pakistan, and there are many famous old universities. Forman Christian College, where I'm working, is one of the oldest. It was founded in 1864, along with Government College University. And then there's LUMS, Lahore University for Management Sciences. There's, of course, the University of the Punjab. In Karachi, there's some very good medical schools. And I was working at Aga Khan University trying to start the Faculty of Arts and Sciences. It turns out Habib University is now getting underway, another private foundation that's starting a university. And then there's the public universities. There is such a need for good university education in Pakistan. And honestly, at this moment, Forman Christian College is the only university that offers the liberal arts. There are some good schools of engineering. There are some schools that are really good in Islamabad in physics or in some of the sciences.
More in the technical fields.
But it's much more technical.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because families see their futures as families by getting one of their kids, and it could be a daughter, going into medicine or going into actuarial science or going into engineering.
It's not very different over here in this part of the world, in the sense that usually graduates, high school graduates, when going in to choose a major, are usually asked by family members or friends of families, "What are you majoring in? Is it medicine or engineering?" You know, we do have that. We do have that mentality still, and I think the liberal arts coming into this region, into the Middle East in general, will help change that mentality. It will help change that ideology over time. We hope it does.
Inshallah, inshallah.
So we're going to move a bit away from what we were talking about, while staying in the spectrum of the liberal arts. Now, you mentioned in your lecture, which took place over here on the 25th. 2 days ago, that the liberal arts program is a very dynamic and ever-changing program. Now, what I want to know is, as we are in the digital age right now, how do you believe technology, such as the internet, mobile communication, it's changing very rapidly. How do you believe that will help develop or hinder the liberal arts program?
Oh, I think that one of the things I want to do in our Teaching and Learning Center is work with faculty to see how they can incorporate technology. Now, I've seen some of the most incredible teaching in the sciences, specifically in physics, where a professor, and this is someone, Eric Masseur at Harvard, he requires students to get their assignments in the night before the class. And then he finds out what kids understood, what they didn't understand, and he focuses his lecture in working on what students didn't understand. Mm-hmm. And in the actual classroom, he uses clickers, another form of technology. Mm-hmm. He gets students to vote. And when he sees that they don't understand something, but that some of the students do, he gets the students who do to teach the students who don't. So he uses two forms of technology right there. And, you know, I've taken classes online. I don't see that the best education will be online. Mm-hmm. But I think that we can use online a lot more in our classes. We can put assignments online, we can put videos, all sorts of things that students can access really easily.
The convergence of the physical classroom and the online classroom is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've taken courses online, and I'm really eager to take a Yale University course in French history online. They have some good courses. But it means then that you don't have this kind of ability to talk to someone. And I have had discussion groups, but it's not the same thing as the friends I made in college, or the late night knockdown dragouts about ideas.
Of course, it doesn't have that interpersonal nature to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're here in the UAE, and we're in one of the most globalized nations in the world. The UAE actually has the world's highest net migration rate right now. I mentioned this because there are many who say that the UAE might be losing its cultural identity. Do you think that the liberal arts program could help preserve the UAE's cultural identity if it were more widespread throughout its universities?
Oh, there's no doubt. And I'm really, let me give you the example of Pakistan. Students in Pakistan in high school, all the way from primary through high school, take a course called Pakistani Studies. But it isn't really a lot of detail and research and understanding about what's going on in Pakistan today, nor is it really good history. It's sort of mythology, and students tend to dislike that course. And I feel for the teachers, because it's not a course students want to take. Imagine if they were taking economic development.
Compulsory?
It's compulsory. But if you have liberal arts, and if we do this at FCC, where students are taking history and seeing Pakistan from a new light, getting excited about, say, Mohenjo-daro, which is part of the Indus Valley civilization 5,000 years ago, where there was actually trading that went on between Mohenjo-daro and Babylon. I mean, just think of it. And it came through here. Amazing.
Incredible. We
don't know about this stuff. How much more we'd be excited about our own cultures here.
Absolutely. Professor Grant, tell us a bit about Third Culture Kids. You hosted a reception for Third Culture Kids at the main building after your lecture on Monday. What is a Third Culture Kid?
A Third Culture Kid is when maybe one parent is of one nationality and the other parent is of another, or when both parents are from one nationality, the child is living in a second place and goes to a school where students are from all over. And so the student, the child, doesn't know who they are or where they're from. And my daughter, for example, grew up in Mexico and then lived in France. And she's 6 feet tall, more than that, blue-eyed, and there she is, Mexican inside. And she knew lots of Mexican history and songs and stories. And she got to the United States to go to college, and she didn't know what her classmates knew, but they didn't know anything she knew. And there's just a whole lot of missing.
I'd imagine that this phenomena is very prevalent here in the UAE as well. I mean, just by your description, I could identify myself as a Third Culture Kid, and I can imagine that there are a lot of other students here at AUS specifically that are Third Culture Kids. What I want to ask you, Professor Grant, is what kind of opportunities do you think Third Culture Kids are blessed with, especially in this region? And what kind of challenges do you believe that they might face in regards to their cultural identity?
Yeah. Well, I'd start with the issue is a cultural identity. And I think immediately that they can be helped to identify who they are, a Third Culture Kid, that they can see that this is a special thing, and not that they're not an American who is disadvantaged or a Saudi who doesn't quite fit in, or then already you're strengthened. And what I think Third Culture Kids bring is a real knowledge and ability to bridge cultures. And usually you have several languages, and right there you're different from your own culture or from an American culture where people tend to be monolingual. You know, I mean, it's huge what you bring. And then if you can become self-aware about that and realize, wow, I'm good at negotiation. I'm good at seeing the other side. I have empathy. You know, all sorts of things like that. Then there are a lot of careers that third culture kids would be best at. Huh?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. Dr. Grant, we're just about out of time.
Okay.
It was a pleasure having you on our show. If you're in town again, we'd love to have you on the show once more. Everybody watching, thank you. You can catch latest episodes of NewsMakers on enewsmcm.com. I've been your host, Mohammed Alshoaiby. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.
Thanks, Mohammed.
You're welcome.
Yeah.